from Franklin University, Switzerland. You see on the screen the information session about the programs in liberal arts. You're going to hear more about these programs in the next 45 minutes or so. We have a great speaker lineup for you. So we will go over to them in just a minute. Just a couple of housekeeping items, so to say, from my end. My name is Luc Mulling. I'm the moderator. And yeah, you can interact with us in different ways. First of all, you can chat to us if you want to say where you're logging in from. And that will be a way to see the variety of people and countries as well joining in. So feel free to do that. But important for you is, of course, that if you have any questions, you can write them at any time through the panel called questions at the right bottom. And we will be answering them at the end, but you can write them at any time. I will be opening up a couple of polling questions to you, so to know you a little bit better. I already opened up one that you see there, what you find the most important in selecting a university program, but I'll open up a couple more later on, so just keep an eye out. But last but not least, we have another interactive button at the bottom of the screen where you see React. If you click on that, you can give a reaction of your choice. If you, for example, hear something you like, yes, exactly, those are the ones. So just to make it a bit more fun and interactive, and also for the speakers to know there's actually an audience at the other side, right? So talking about speakers, let's go over to them. We'll start with Justine. She will introduce herself and her staff, and then we'll take it from there. Good luck.
Thank you, Luke. Did you want to run a little video as you mentioned, or do I just get started?
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, hi everyone. My name is Justine Salam. I am Assistant Director of Admissions and Career Readiness Lead at Franklin University, Switzerland. And today I have with me other people who represent Franklin, and I'll let them introduce themselves and then we'll get started. Dave, if you want to go.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Dave Mills. I'm our Dean of Academic Affairs here at Franklin, and happy to have you join us and learn more about what we offer here.
Katerina?
Well, hi everyone. My name is Caterina Scolari. I work in the admissions office as well in the advancement and alumni. And I'm very happy to be here with you today. We're gonna have a very nice session. I hope you can learn more about Franklin.
Majda?
Hello, my name is Majda Dakkak. I'm the MENA Regional Lead for Franklin University, and I'm also a Franklin alum. I'm looking forward to this conversation with you.
Michaeli.
Hi, my name is Michaeli. I am a student here at Franklin University.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. All right, so without further ado, if we could, perfect, go to the presentation. All right, so today we have a packed agenda. We'll start by going through some of the key facts for Franklin University, Switzerland. Then Dave will walk us through the academics part. We'll look at the student life at Franklin, admissions process, talk a little bit about career, and then we'll have Katerina facilitate a Q&A session with our alumna and current students so that you can hear directly from them, and we'll keep some time at the end for Q&A from you guys. So to start with, the first thing that's important to note about Franklin is obviously its accreditation. That means that the diploma that you get at the end of your time here is valid and recognized around the world. So for Franklin, we have accreditation from the United States and from Switzerland. Here on site, we have about 57 faculty. Some of them teach full-time, some of them are here part-time. We also sometimes invite professors to come and teach specific courses. So you'll get the chance to hear from different faculty from different disciplines. In terms of our student body, we have over 60 nationalities represented on campus. Half of our student body comes from the United States, and then 30% from Europe and Central Asia, and then the remaining 20% or so from the rest of the world. Average class size at Franklin is 16 students per class, and the student to faculty ratio is 9:1. So that's 9 students for 1 professor, meaning you really have a chance here to interact with faculty. We have a policy, an open door policy, meaning you can drop in at specific office hours to chat with your professors after class. So it's really an experience where if you're looking to, be invisible in a really big room of 1,000 students, that's not the kind of experience you'll get here. Here you definitely be expected to participate in class. You'll be visible. Your professors will know you by name. So this is the kind of experience that we provide here at Franklin. In terms of location, so we are located in southern Switzerland in the Italian-speaking canton. So we are in Lugano region with a population of about 63,000 people. We're an hour away from Milan, Italy, and 2 hours away by train from Zurich, Switzerland. And Franklin was founded in 1969, and it is the only independent private liberal arts university in Switzerland. So very unique university in a very lovely place. We have lakes and mountains surrounding us, so really a place very nice to live in. It's not just to study, it's also a very nice environment. I'll leave it to Dave to tell us a little bit about Franklin's academics now.
Thanks, Justine. We can get the presentation. There we go. So yes, I want to talk a bit about what the options are for you here to study at Franklin. But before looking at any specific list of what you want to be when you grow up, I want to talk about why studying anything, whatever that might be, at Franklin is a unique experience. So think of it this way. You have 4 years at Franklin to explore the world, to learn about yourself, to focus on who you're becoming. And if you saw the statistic on one of Justine's earlier slide, 95% of our students have career placement or continuing education after graduation. So we are definitely preparing you for a career, preparing you to be a citizen of the world, preparing you for the flexibility and resilience to face whatever comes next. I often tell students that whatever career path you're on at the moment, whatever it is you think you want to study, you can count on at least one thing, and that is that the world will change by the time you have spent some years on that job. And so a big part of what we do at Franklin is to prepare students for whatever comes next. Not only their first job, but all of the ebbs and flows of technology and economics and politics and everything else that will happen over the course of your life. You'll pick up the skills here that will prepare you to navigate those twists and turns. So when you think about the skills that you might develop in college, it's important to think about the different sorts of skills that you might pick up. So let's say that you want to be a computer programmer or something like that. When I started college, longer ago than I want to admit, I was a computer engineering major, and I learned several programming languages that no longer exist. So I could code in Fortran and COBOL and Pascal and BASIC. Nobody does those anymore. The entire world of computer programming has changed. So in that sense, at the top of the tree here, I developed some skills that were perishable. They didn't live for more than a few years after I developed them. But in that process, at the same time, I got some more durable skills. Think of the trunk of the tree as things that did persist. So even though the COBOL coding language isn't around anymore, the basic concepts of how one goes about computer coding is still the same. It's just the techniques and the technology have changed. But then down at the very base, the roots of the tree that will allow it to weather any storms that come along the way, there's the mindsets, the behaviors, what we call durable skills that even though I started in computer engineering, went to mathematics, went to philosophy and visual arts, and now I'm an academic administrator, I never could have predicted what I'm doing now if you asked me when I was 18 years old. I would have probably said I would do anything but what I'm doing now. But along the way, I developed some skills and competencies that I still draw on in my job today. And that's really at the heart, or at the root, if we want to stick with this visual, of what we do here at Franklin. And I think what's important to note is that this is really what is going to carry you through your entire life. So there's a group in the United States called the American Association of Colleges and Universities. And every couple of years, they do a survey of people in companies around the world that are hiring recent college graduates. So their most recent survey was done in May of 2023. They interviewed over 1,000 hiring managers, and they asked those hiring managers, what's important to you when you interview a job candidate? Now, if you're interviewing someone for an accounting job, they'd better know how to do accounting, right? So there are some basic job skills that are, of course, very specific on the role. But here is what those hiring managers said. On top of the accounting skills or whatever it is, here's how important these skills are to the people who are potentially employing a future college graduate. They want strong skills in oral communication. They want adaptability and flexibility, teamwork, critical thinking, self-motivation, the ability to work independently, written communication. And I think crucially here for Franklin, when you see that breakdown of where our students come from, working with people from different backgrounds. That will be every day for you here at Franklin. You'll be in class with people from 20 other countries, potentially, in some of your learning environments. You'll go on academic travel with them. You will learn to work with, to respect each other, to disagree with in a productive way, skills that our world desperately needs right now, and skills that will serve you well regardless of what job you take and regardless of where life takes you after that first job. A few others that were important to these hiring managers: creativity and innovation, complex problem solving, using technology and media effectively, having good ethical judgments, the ability to interpret data, evaluate information, and here again, I think crucially for Franklin, integrating ideas across different settings and different contexts. Not just being good at one thing, but understanding how everything is interconnected globally, philosophically, and so forth. So these skills here are at the root of everything we do at Franklin. So when I show you the list of majors here in a moment, understand that whether you're studying one thing or another, these fundamental core skills are going to be there in every program that you pursue. And that's what we mean by the global liberal arts experience at Franklin. One other piece to look at in this data is that these hiring managers were asked to evaluate how important a skill was versus how prepared the people are that they're interviewing. And notice these giant gaps. So oral communication was ranked the highest, but the hiring manager said not even half of the people I interview have the skills that I'm looking for here. Adaptability and flexibility, super important. But just over half of the people showed up for their interview demonstrating that adaptability and flexibility that the hiring managers are looking for. And you can see on down the list here of the gaps. And I'd like you to think of those gaps as your opportunity. If this is what people are looking for and everyone else is showing up this way, you have the chance to step into that gap, be at the front of the pack and say, I chose to study in a way that very few other people do. I spent 4 years in another country studying at a global liberal arts university in a multilingual, multinational environment, going to class with students from all over the world. I have exactly the skills you're looking for, and I'll be able to demonstrate that not only in the interview, but every day on the job thereafter. That's what I think your story to tell is as a graduate of Franklin. And that's what we'll spend 4 years helping you develop the ability to do. So, are all skills equal? No. I want you to think as you look at Franklin and as you look at other schools that you're considering at this moment, how are they helping you plant those roots? How are they helping you prepare to grow and thrive regardless of what life throws at you after graduation? And I'm confident that when you do the comparison, Franklin will show up very well, and you'll realize just how effectively you'll be prepared based on what we do here. So here's the list of what you could do. We have kind of 4 big buckets of programs that we use to organize the opportunities here. We call those the divisions of Franklin. So we have the Division of Arts and Cultures, where you can study things related to arts, literature, the essential languages of Switzerland. We have social justice and sustainability, which is getting redesigned as we speak to become a pathway into our newly launched master's curriculum in sustainability and transformation. And then you can see a lot of related minors that you can add to any major. So you can see that our graduates who have studied these kinds of things have gone on to work for non-governmental organizations. They have jobs in media. They've become educators. They are practitioners in the arts, as well as other business people involved in arts management, curation, and related areas. Many of these students have gone on for advanced studies, for a master's or a PhD program at some of the world's top universities, including places like Harvard, King's College London, National University of Singapore, and so on. So students coming out of these majors fare exceptionally well and have gone on to do great things. Our Division of Environment, Math, Psychology, and Health. It's a big mouthful there. But fundamentally, we're talking here about environmental studies and sciences. So you can look at environmental issues in a broad interdisciplinary way, or you can focus your attention on the environment specifically through the natural sciences. We also have psychology and a new program starting next year, health sciences, which is basically a pre-med track for those who are interested in further education for nursing, physician's assistants, medical school. And we actually have a partnership with St. George University in Grenada in the Caribbean, where those students who complete our health sciences program are guaranteed admission to their Doctor of Medicine program at that school. These graduates, of course, have gone on to a wide range of career paths and further study as well. We have a number of graduates doing ongoing work on environmental sustainability issues. We have graduates pursuing further education in clinical psychology, and we hope to see new cohorts of graduates in the health sciences heading into the medical field very soon. Next, we have the Business and Economics Division. And here you see the range of offerings focusing on international finance, economics, management, and marketing. You can see some of the minors are very much the same, but I'd also like to highlight our minor in sustainable luxury management. Our location here in Switzerland gives us very direct access to a lot of the fashion brands that are rooted in Milan. Here in our home canton, some major global fashion brands are setting up regional headquarters and particularly focusing on sustainable luxury production. The Swiss brand Bali is located nearby here as well, and our students have had opportunities to work directly with Bali, with Hugo Boss, with other major fashion houses in Milan and in Switzerland. Internships, case study opportunities, consulting work. There's a lot of opportunity for these programs. And then lastly, our Division of Communication, History, and Politics, where you can study communication and media, history, international relations, political science, and you can see some of the minors as well. Our faculty here are some of our most active researchers. They research issues of political science and international relations. You'll see some of the faculty from this area regularly in the media, on the radio, being interviewed on television, writing for the newspapers, talking about democratic issues in Switzerland, reactions to global political events. You have a chance to really do some close research with experts in their field here. And a lot of these students have then gone on to graduate work of their own for individual research, but also quite a lot of opportunity in diplomacy, public service, also again, non-governmental organizations and the like. Now, each of these programs, hopefully you saw something on the list there that captures your imagination. But again, remember, ultimately you're here to become as full of a person as you possibly can be. Really to spend this time developing your humanity and your resilience for the future. And every single one of these programs, each student, regardless of their major, participates in our signature program here at Franklin, which is called academic travel. Every semester, we basically shut down the campus for 2 weeks. That's starting next Monday here for the spring semester. And our students travel somewhere else in the world with their faculty members. So you can see here some of the details. We have destinations all around the world. I'll show you some of those in just a minute, but the students will have spent the first half of the semester preparing to go visit on site the people, the places, the ideas that they've been studying in the classroom. They'll share that together for at least 8 to 9 days, possibly up to 2 weeks. And then they'll return and spend the rest of the semester kind of unpacking and interpreting the experiences they had on site. This is included in tuition. There's not extra cost associated except for a few very long haul distances. But this is something where, again, think about the cohort of students that you're with here at Franklin. You're with students from all around the world. And not only are you gathering here in Franklin classrooms together, but then you're launching out from here to some other destination in the world. Every student has to do at least 4 of these. Most students do it every semester that they're here, traveling 7 or 8 times to all kinds of destinations. So we have a couple of videos here to demonstrate some of our opportunities. So let's see if I can launch those, or Luke, perhaps you can launch those for me. Here we go.
The students that have done this academic travel frequently say that it changed their lives. Franklin is 50 years old, but it has retained the essentials of personalized learning environment. To go in a library or to sit in the classroom and to hear or to study is one thing. To live it and to be on location, that's another.
Near Venice, in Roncade, there is HFAR, the biggest innovation center in Italy and one of the biggest and most important in Europe.
It's absolutely great to see how all of these aspects of digital entrepreneurship come together to form a story of its own. If you can get your point across with less words, but powerful imagery, that can do so much for a business.
So those videos give you a very small taste of some of the many opportunities that we provide through academic travel. And as you heard in the first video, one of our founders of Franklin and one of our past presidents, Theo Brenner, talking about the lived experience that you get. You're not just looking at things in textbooks or online. You're going on site. You're seeing some of these famous destinations. You're meeting real people. You're eating food, you're doing the whole thing, right? And it's a transformative kind of experience. So here you can see some of our recent destinations and some of the topics that were explored. We're sending students all across Europe. Further than Europe, we're going to places like Madagascar and Morocco. We've recently been to Singapore and Iceland. We're sending students to Costa Rica next week. We're really trying to explore every corner of the globe we possibly can in a way that is integrated into the curriculum at Franklin and shared with students from all over the world. So when you think about, again, the different college experiences that you're considering, think not only about what is my major, but think about the context within which you're studying and the kind of person you might become and the opportunities that are there to shape you. And I believe that you'll find that the global liberal arts education that Franklin offers is a really unique and really valuable learning opportunity. We hope you'll join us for it. I guess over to you again, Justine.
Yes, thank you, Dave. This was super, super inspiring. I hope you guys are as inspired as we were all listening to you, Dave. That was really awesome. A really good representation of what we offer at Franklin. So Franklin also has a very active student life. So we have an office that's dedicated to ensuring that there's lots of activities on campus. Franklin is a residential university, so you will be living on campus, dining on campus, attending classes. So it really creates that close-knit community feeling. So the Office of Student Life, for example, organizes orientation the first week of the term. You have on-campus housing services, of course, residential life, student leadership. So there is a Student Government Association, SGA, very active on campus. The Office of Student Life also oversees health services, Swiss immigration and health insurance, so they provide support to help you navigate these processes. Career readiness, we'll talk a little bit about that later in the presentation. Campus safety, sports, first year experiences, lots and lots and lots of activities here under the Office of Student Life. And here actually on one of the photos on the right-hand side, you can see one of our residences. And then at the bottom here, a really famous bridge in a nearby valley that's a very famous tourist spot, really, really nice area where obviously students are going during orientation. In terms of digging a little bit more into student life, so there's lots of clubs and organizations on campus, over 20. All organizations student organizations are coordinated and led by students. So if you have an idea, for example, for a club that does not exist, you can actually request funding and then found your own club. Some of the sports that we have, so lots of intramural sports, but also e-biking, sailing, outdoor climbing, lots of opportunities in the region. There are wellness courses also that you can have access to, and Franklin also runs some signature events like International Food Night, where students can cook dishes from their home country and share it with their peers, or the Holy Festival of Colors. So we celebrate also our diversity, our campus diversity, in many different ways. In terms of housing and dining, as I mentioned, so Franklin is residential. We have 8 different residence halls. So all students who get accepted are guaranteed housing on site. And then we have different types of housing options. So you can actually look at our website and see some of the photos and videos that we have there. We have 2 dining halls on campus. And so freshmen, so first year students are required to have a meal plan their first year. So you can have breakfast, lunch, and dinner in the dining hall. And the dining halls offer lots and lots of options in terms of accommodating dietary requirements, so gluten-free options, vegan options, vegetarian options. So there's a lot of different options for everyone's taste. In terms of, so programs of study, that's just to wrap up a little bit what Dave said, and just to highlight basically your options. So our most popular program is obviously the 4-year undergraduate bachelor program. If you are currently attending a school that offers the international baccalaureate program, or you're taking AP courses, or you're following the A-level curriculum, or some of the recognized national curriculums in Europe, like those in France or Germany or Switzerland, you may be eligible for an expedited 3-year program where we credit some of those high school courses. And then we also have partnerships with other institutions like Emerson, for example, where you can do 2 years with us and 2 years with them. They're located in the States. We also have study abroad programs, so you can also join us for a semester and experience life in Lugano. And we have visiting students as well. We offer lots of summer programs and pre-college summer programs, as well as gap year options. In terms of admissions requirement, our admission process is pretty straightforward. You can just fill in an application, which will ask you generic information about your profile. Then we'll ask you to complete an essay on a topic. You have different options to different types of topics that you can write your essay about. Then you will be required to upload a personal statement. And then, of course, we ask for transcript, usually 2-3 years of high school transcript. Those don't need to be official at the time at which you apply, but we will be requiring, if you're accepted, for you to send your official transcript later on. So if you're currently in your last year of high school, that's totally okay. you can send your transcript in progress. We will look at those. And then 1 or 2 letters of recommendations, preferably from a teacher or someone from your school who really knows you and can describe your qualities and your motivation. And for those who do not have English as a first language and who are not attending a school where English is the language of instruction, we do ask for test scores just to prove English proficiency to make sure that you can be successful here at Franklin. How we review applications, so we really have a holistic review process where we looked not just at your grades, but also at your extracurriculars, your motivation, your personal statement, your essay, your letters of recommendation, to really look at your entire profile. The average GPA of our accepted student is around 3.2 on a US scale. But that does not mean that we do not look at applicants who have a lower GPA, because sometimes they may have, you know, a lower GPA but be very involved with their extracurriculars. And so, like I mentioned, it's a holistic review. We look at your grades, but we also look at who you are as an individual. If you are taking the SAT, it's not mandatory, but if you have taken it or you plan on taking it, our average score is usually 1200. For ACT, it's 29, and for the IB, for those who are taking the IB curriculum, it's a final score of 30. And then in terms of tuition fees, and we'll be talking about that a little bit in this slide and the next one. So 70% of our students receive some sort of financial aid. There are opportunity for you to get so federal student aid if you're coming from the US, but also international aid, and we offer merit scholarships that are based on GPA. So the higher your GPA, the higher your chances of obtaining a scholarship. Then if you are an EU citizen or a Swiss citizen, we also offer a tuition discount, a significant tuition discount. And of course, if you have very specific academic achievements, specific leadership experience, we also offer scholarships to recognize those achievements. In terms of the cost of attendance, so it basically depends on your citizenship. So if you have Swiss EU, and this is the third row, so Swiss EU citizenship, then your cost of attendance will be around 48,000 francs. We offer aid, as I mentioned, and then the last column is where you have the average net cost. International students, it's a little bit higher, but there is much more average aid that's offered to international students, as you can notice in the second column. So there's lots of different options here where we can help you fund your education. And every single applicant is automatically screened for merit-based scholarships, for example. So you do not need a separate application. If you apply and you get in, then we will also inform you at the same time if you have received a specific scholarship package. So you can really make a decision with all of the information that you need. If you need more information about tuition fees, all of the information is on our website, so please feel free to look at those numbers. In terms of career services, so career at Franklin, we call it career readiness. And for us, career readiness is basically, its objective is to build a foundation from which Franklin students can demonstrate these essential competencies. So Dave mentioned some of those really important skills that employers are really looking for, so that we can basically prepare you for success, whether you want to pursue further studies after your bachelor and go on to do a master's or a PhD, or to do what we call lifelong career management, meaning finding your first job, thinking about your career, and ensuring that you have some agility in terms of going from one career to another in a world where you might be accepted to change careers a few times. So what services do we offer to help you? We have resume and CV review. We do practice mock interviews. We do personal assessments. skills assessment, career coaching, and various workshops on different themes. This term, for example, we have an upcoming workshop where we've invited Franklin alum, to talk about their career path after Franklin. We have another one where we focus specifically on grad school, and we have faculty attending and presenting who will be talking about their path, how they went on to get their masters and their PhDs, and what are some of the best tips that you need to know about to be successful in grad school. And finally, as part of our career readiness efforts, we have a pathway program, and that's a program that you can take in addition to your classes, where you will go through different stages, doing a skills assessment, a personality assessment, then attending certain presentations, going to workshops and developing new skills. And then the highlight of the program is that you'll be paired with an alumni from Franklin for 4 months, and then meet with them. You can do a lot of different sessions, and they can basically mentor you and guide you so that you can start thinking about your career. In terms of student outcomes and alumni network, so our alumni work in all kinds of sectors, as you can see on the chart here. So technology, finance, services, non-for-profits, arts and entertainment, education, governmental organization, industry. So we have really alums who go for all over the world and in lots of different sectors, sometimes in their graduating majors and sometimes not. So the skills that you will get at Franklin will allow you that flexibility to learn how to maximize the learning that you do as part of your major, but also be flexible enough if you want to explore different things upon graduation. So this is just a quick slide, and it'll be part of the recording, I'm sure, but this is just if you want to contact us in admissions. So you have the team here, we have our contact, we're pretty responsive over email, so if you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to reach out. We also do one-on-ones with students, so if you started an application and you have questions, we can jump on a call and help you navigate the application process or answer any questions you have. So like I said, please feel free to reach out. We're here to guide you. Okay, I will now turn it over to Katerina, who will be facilitating a Q&A with our current students, Michele, and Franklin alumna, Majda. So I'll turn it over to Katerina. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Justine. Thank you, Justine and Dave, for that insightful presentation. I think you now have a better idea how Franklin is structured and what you can expect, just for the admissions process, but also when you're here. However, there's no better way to learn about a place than to hear it directly from people who are currently there or have experienced it. So we can start with, so we're gonna have this session with a few questions with our current students and alumna. So current students, you've heard at the beginning, we have Michele. She is currently enrolled in the Bachelor of Arts in International Political Communication. This is a dual degree in partnership with Emerson. And then we have an alumna, Majda. She graduated from Franklin with a dual degree in Communication Media Studies and Comparative Literary and Cultural Studies. So we can start right away with a question for Majda. Majda, what made you choose Franklin over other universities?
Okay, well, first of all, the idea of studying in Switzerland was always something that I thought about. I've always wanted it. But then coming across Franklin and seeing that it follows the American curriculum and the American system got me very excited, because I wanted that flexibility and freedom to kind of explore and dig deeper into different topics, not just what I thought I wanted to study when I was in high school.
Great, thank you very much, Majda. Next question is for Michele. Michele, you've been now at Franklin since August 2024. what advice would you give students starting Franklin? What would you recommend to make the most of out of their first few months?
I guess I would go and participate in as many things as possible because there's so much to do. And if you're just hiding in your room, you're not going to meet anyone and then you're not going to have anything to do later. And so I just highly recommend just like going out because there's like so many fun things that you can do. Right at the beginning of August, they had a yacht party, and there was whenever we went to the bridge, it started with the of the I forgot the name of it, but that bridge they took the picture of. They took us all to that, and we all went swimming, and you could jump off of this rock into the water, and that was really fun. And some people decided not to go, and I'm very glad that I decided to go because that's how I was able to make a lot of my friends.
Great, thank you. That's a great advice, I think. Continuing on, Majda, back to you. You're now an alum. How have you stayed connected with the Franklin community? Are you still in touch with alumni, and how has that benefited you?
Well, definitely still in touch. With Franklin, because it is a small community, it's easy to one, stay connected, and two, develop real friendships, real bonds and connections with the people you meet, because you come across the same people over and over again. You can go on academic travel with them. And the majority of the people in Franklin, the majority of the students, have all left their homes and came to study and live in Lugano. So we all have a very common narrative, and we've created bonds and friendships that we wouldn't have created otherwise. When it comes to the benefits, I mean, other than saying that those have truly become my friends for life, I know that whenever I need someone anywhere in the world, everyone is just an email, a WhatsApp, a message away. Just a few days ago, I connected with one of the students who were with me when we were in Franklin. We were just in like a couple of courses together. He crossed my mind. I sent him a message, and the last time we spoke was maybe 10 years ago when we first graduated. But he instantly replied, and we started catching up. And you wouldn't have such relations I think, in places where you don't come across the same people as often as you do at Franklin.
Great, thank you. I think you made some great points there, also related to what Michaeli said, making friends and getting to know people from the start. I think that's great advice. And also related to the small size that Franklin is, you really get to know not only the faculty. We saw the faculty ratio to students. There's a lot more students for one fact. Well, the faculty ratio to students is pretty small, so you do get to get to know the professor, but also the students. Michaeli, Justine said a bit about the official student life. How has your experience been with that office and the support and the services it offers? How has that impacted your academic and personal success?
So the Office of Student Life works very well in helping support me, and I really like how they always have like a lot of different events that they do. And I actually started the fashion club while here, and I was able to collaborate with the OSL most recently on February 26th. We were able to do a clothing swap here, and so that was a lot of fun, very successful event. And overall, the OSL does help a lot with like making different connections as well.
Fantastic, thank you. Majda, I think that's a loaded question here. That's what advice would you give someone considering attending Franklin?
I would say take that leap of faith and be open to opportunities while there. What makes Franklin so unique is that the education, the experience that you get it goes beyond the classroom as well. But in order to really get everything out of it, you need to put yourself out there. You need to explore, experience. I mean, Michele said it with the Valiversaska trip, but it also applies to everything. It can apply to opportunities of starting clubs, being involved on campus with Office of Student Life, with professors as research assistants, and so on and so forth. The decision of choosing which university to go to is not an easy one, and I'm sure you have like a lot of questions running through your heads, a lot of concerns. But I can say from my experience that choosing Franklin was one of the best decisions that I've made in my life. And if I was to go back in time, I would choose that same university and go through the same experience all over again.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. We have one last official questions to Michele, and then we can open the discussion to you guys. If you have any question, feel free to write it in the chat. But first, Michele, we've heard before the academic travel is an integral part of the Franklin curriculum. Can you share your favorite experience and moment from academic travel?
So I have been able to go on one academic travel, and that was the fashion studies travel with Professor Sugi, and that was a lot of fun. Basically, half of our travel was spent in Florence, and the other half was spent in Milan. Overall, it was just like a really, really good experience. We were able to meet like a lot of really cool people that were in the fashion world, some in like the taste world, and like with foodie people. And I don't know, I can't say like one specific thing that was like my favorite, because I just liked the whole academic travel. So that was just a lot of fun. One thing that did stick out to me actually was when we went to the leather school. That was very interesting to see how they made like all the leather bags and the different types of leather that they used.
Great. Majda, do you want to maybe say your favorite experience from academic travel? You've been, I think, to a few more. Do you have any memories you can share? I think you're muted.
Oh, sorry. One of my favorite experiences was we went to, it was a sustainable development academic travel, and we went to Hamburg and Rostock in Germany. And then from Rostock, we went on a ferry to Copenhagen in Denmark. And that was something I never expected myself to do. I never imagined. And it was truly a very special moment, special experience. Minus the fact that the weather was freezing, but all in all, it's something that I wouldn't have done if I was traveling on my own.
Thank you, Masha. Thank you, Michele. Again, the academic travel is an opportunity for students also to engage with other students. Academic travel, as we said during the presentation, every student needs to participate, at least a few of them, and students are not bounded to one depending on your majors or minor. They have a free choice, so they can engage also with students from other majors and minors as well, which again, it's another occasion to get to know other people. But thank you very much, Masha. Thank you, Michele. And thank you everyone for listening to us today. We have now some time for questions. If you want to write them in the chat.
Okay. Yep. I'll come back to this point. Indeed, we have the panel called questions open on the right bottom. I see some people already found it and let us know some questions. So we're going to go over that. Just one point. I know a lot of people these days watch the recording. So if you do, you can still write questions actually to the panel. We're still collecting them. We cannot answer your live, of course, but we can send them through to the staff of Franklin University, so they can still hear your questions and get back to you. All right, so first question we got was from Carmen. Are there payments per modules possible? So as the Justine wrote a bit to clarify. I don't know if, I don't see that yet, but is there anyone that can say something about this, or shall we move on first?
So I just answered just because I wasn't sure what Carmen meant. So if you just want to clarify, are there payment per module possible? Do you mean like paying per course, or so if you just want to add a little note in the chat, and then we'll tackle that. We can go to, in the meantime, we can go to Isaac's question. So he asked, what do you look at when selecting international students who want to study at your university? So I answered that we look at obviously transcripts and grades, your personal statement, your letters of recommendation, your essay, your English proficiency score results if very needed. But really what we're looking for are students who have a global mindset or want to develop it. So some of our students, for example, have lived already in 10 different countries, they're attending an international school, but we also have students who have never left their hometown, but who are excited about coming to Switzerland and being exposed to the world, whether it's in the classroom or with their professor or on academic travel. So you don't necessarily need to be very worldly already before coming to Franklin, but at least showing that you have a desire to engage with the world, that you're curious about it, and that you're committed to bettering yourself, becoming a better version of yourself as part of your Franklin experience is basically what we're looking for. So I hope that answers the question. And then we have a question, so I'm just looking at, okay, still in news from Carmen. Did I hear? No? Okay. So to Anastasia's question, so she asked if you need to pass an international exam in English. So the English proficiency requirement that we have in place here as part of the admissions process is only for students who are not native English speakers and who do not attend a school where English is their language of instruction. So in this specific case, if you're attending school in Russia, in Russian, and Russian is your mother tongue, then we will ask that you fill in, that you complete an English proficiency test. And those can be like the IELTS test, so I can type it in here, IELTS, that's a famous one. You can take it online or go to a test center. And then the other one that we accept is Duolingo. So Duolingo you can definitely do online. So it's sometimes a better option for people who may not be in locations where there are test centers. So you can just do the test, the Duolingo English test, and then you send us your results, and we add them to your application basically for consideration. Okay.
We also have the Cambridge and the 12. And in case in your country you normally do a different test, we can take that into consideration. We would need to see how the scoring system is. But if you did take another English proficiency test, you can send that, and then you will hear back from us if we need something additionally.
Absolutely. Thank you, Katerina. I added some of that information in my response there. But yeah, please feel free to get in touch if you have very specific questions and you're not sure whether you need to do an English test or not. Please reach out and we'll help you navigate that. So I see Isaac's question. So I understand everyone stays on campus. Yes, everyone stays on campus. So our campus is kind of in 3 different parts, but they're all within 10 minutes walk of each other. And there are lots of different residences. And yes, basically everyone stays on campus. Okay. What level? Okay, question from Beto Lopez. What level of Duolingo is accepted for English? Okay, so this one I'll have to look at our website again because I don't remember. Katerina, do you remember the exact score for Duolingo?
I think it's a 90, but okay. Let me go back.
Okay.
No, sorry. Duolingo is 110. IELTS it's a 6.5. 12, it's a 90.
There you go. Okay. So any other questions?
Okay. All right, I think those were the questions we received. We see the answer there now as well. So far, I hope that answered your questions. If we still have a couple of minutes left, so if you have any questions, this is your moment to ask. Let us know. But
maybe if you don't have any question or you're still thinking of a question, we, as we explained, Franklin is located in Switzerland in the south part. Most of our students are international students. So maybe Michele and Majda, can you share an experience? Have you experienced any cultural shock? What was your impression coming to Franklin and getting adjusted to the culture here?
Well, for me, the biggest shock was, and it's not entirely a shock, but the language. So as you know, in Lugano, the spoken language is Italian, and I didn't know any Italian. And that was a bit of a challenge at first. But then the moment, I started taking Italian classes at Franklin, I learned the basic and it was okay. But in general, as a campus, it was very accommodating. As a freshman, there were a lot of activities going on for freshmen in particular to help ease that transition from home to college. So that helped a lot.
Great. Michele, do you also want to share your experience?
Yes. So I guess the biggest thing is people here, they're not mean, they're just not friendly. And I'm used to everybody, like where I come from, everybody's always very friendly with each other. Like even if you don't know people, you would just like stop and like talk to them and they'd tell you about like their kids or something. But here people do say hi and things, but they don't like give you their whole little background, which is something I wasn't used to. But I think that was the biggest thing, was just like people just mind their business.
Okay, great. Thank you to you, Michele, as well. Yes, if you've heard that we're in Switzerland, maybe it's known to be a bit colder at first time you meet Swiss people, but then I think you can also engage in activities. We have many students engaging in local activities and clubs as well, because they want to learn more about the culture and get to know local people as well. And of course, as Majda said, learning some basic Italian definitely helps you going about your everyday life. However, if you really don't want to, or you're afraid, the first few weeks, people do in downtown Lugano shops and restaurants, they also know English. So for the first few weeks, you'll get by anyways. I think we have a few more questions in the chat. Yes, how you can contact us, the info@fus.edu, or in the slides you saw the counselors' email addresses as well. We are divided by geographic regions, so you can send an email directly to the info, and then we will refer you to your assigned counselor.
And just for the last question here that I'll take, so do we offer a 3+2 university system where you can continue directly to a master's after your 3 years bachelor? The good news is yes. We are just in the process of revamping our master's program, so you could be eligible to do a 3 years undergraduate bachelor program, followed by a 1-year master's. So this is a 3+1. So we'll be rolling out more information in the next couple of months, so stay tuned, watch our website. I'll put a link in my reply here, so you can look a little bit at some of the options. Dave hinted at this. Dave, do you want to say just a few words on that before we finish?
Sure. So yes, starting in the fall of 2026, you'll be able to declare a major in social justice and sustainability as a 3-year pathway into our 1-year master in sustainability and transformation. So all those details are going to be launched very soon. We've just approved the curriculum. So keep an eye on our social media and on our website. And within the next month or so, you should start to see information about those new programs being available. We do also have a partnership with Emerson College in Boston, Massachusetts in the US, where if you do a major in a select area here at Franklin, communication and media studies, comparative literary and cultural studies, French, Italian, literature, politics, you can then go on to a select number of master's degrees in a 3+1 configuration to Emerson. And those are in publishing and writing, journalism, media design, and public relations. So take a look at that. If you just look for the Emerson College Partnership tab on our website, you can see more information there for that.
Great, thank you. So I also put a link to the undergraduate section, so you can directly link to that and at your own pace look for more information. Maybe one last question, in the sense that we did a poll to know for people what they were still looking for, and the top was the cost of living. Is there anything that, I don't know, the students can say maybe about this briefly? How about the cost of living in Switzerland?
Michaela, do you want to start?
I'm sorry, the audio's been like cutting in and out. I'm trying to fix it.
They are wondering about the cost of living in Switzerland as a student.
I'm sorry, I don't know what's wrong. I can't really hear. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we do. But maybe
Can you hear
otherwise,
us?
Maista, maybe you want to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, yes, the reputation is Switzerland is not cheap. But being a student, the cost of living is what you make it. If you want to use taxis and eat out every day and all of that, then yes, it's not cheap. But if you learn to use the public transportation, if you eat on campus or learn how to cook, then it's very manageable. What I also always like to tell students is that although Switzerland is not cheap, but the number and amount of temptations that exist in Lugano are not the same as the ones that exist in a big city. So you have less things to spend on.
That's a great point. But also with the student card, students do get a lot of discounts in different sports facilities, for example, some entertainment, and also some restaurants, depending on the different place. But some of them do have students' rates.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for that answer. There's actually a question still, I think I'm not sure if it was answered. Is it possible to apply for a master's program while I'm currently in my third year? Or do I first have to go with a bachelor's? So David answered it, but just for everyone to know.
Yeah, so
Maybe to
anyone can
repeat.
enter the new master's program with a completed bachelor from any institution. So some students could take a full 4-year degree at Franklin and then enter. You could do a 4-year degree at Zagreb and enter. The 3+1 pathway will be specifically for students in the Franklin undergraduate curriculum already.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot for clarifying that. And that was the last question I've seen. So without, I think, further ado, slowly we can round off the session. I will display here some contacts on the screen. Hope you can read the emails. But there's the various teams that you can reach out to, but also the email actually in the chat, and the link I sent, you can find more information. So with that, I have a last polling question, and that is you can actually grade us. How do you feel we did? So I'm going to put that on the screen. Let us know how you feel the session went. And if any comments, of course, let us know. We hope it was according to your expectations. And thank you for your feedback through all the polls. And but of course also the staff. Thanks everyone for joining. Katarina, Justine, David, Mashda, and Michaeli, who I think had an internet connection problem now. But thanks a lot everyone for having joined. And yeah, we hope to see some of the students in Lugano next year. So from my end,
Thank you, Luke.
bye-bye everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.